Peace. Infinite waters diving deep once again. We got the beautiful wind swaying everywhere. We're out here in nature, baby. 10 things you're doing making you feel lonely. A lot of people write into me saying they feel lonely. Let's just breathing in that good ass prana, baby. And it's getting to them because they have actually a lot of friends. So why should they feel lonely? And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? Let me share with you what's helped me along my journey not feel lonely. Like, I have so much love and support all around me, but there have been times where along my early journey, I used to feel really lonely. You may be feeling really lonely. You may even be in a relationship, someone scratching your back, but still feel lonely. What's happening? What are you doing that you should really be aware of? The first thing you're doing making you feel lonely is saying, I've got this, every single time. Like, in our society, we have been raised to believe that we are so independent. Nature is an ecosystem. You got birds up there, you got a tree here. Everything is working together in a symbiotic relationship with everything else. Slow motion this side. Along my early journey, I used to feel like I can do everything by myself. I've got this. I don't need anyone. And I was lonely. Oh, so lonely. So just realize, yes, you have got this. But don't feel that you have to do everything by yourself. And it goes on to the second thing you're doing making you lonely. Are you afraid to ask for help? Are you? You see, in our society, there is a lot of technology. A lot of people have smartphones, but there are so few connections. Slow motion this side. Are you afraid to ask for help? I'm a Pisces, so yes, I admit, I'm afraid to ask for help because usually people come to me with their questions. But I've learned over time, you better talk, Ralph. You better start talking. You better start asking people questions. Like, have you got any strawberries in your house? That's a good start, Ralph. People who are afraid to ask for help often feel lonely. I'm here to tell you, never feel ashamed if you have to ask someone for help. It doesn't mean you're inadequate, you're weak. It just means you're smart, because smart people love to ask questions. They love to ask for help, and they get it. So that really helps me feel so connected when I ask someone a question if I really feel the need to. Sometimes we're like, I don't want to ask anything. I don't want to ask for help because I don't want to appear too needy, Ralph. I'm not going to judge you, but you might just find the answer you need. You might just find the help you need. What is the third thing making you lonely without you knowing? 7-day vegan challenge, being the odd one out on the table. Now, a lot of people have been writing into me saying they have recently just started the 7-day vegan challenge and they're eating a more plant-based diet. Lots of apricots and brown rice and quinoa and watercress and wheatgrass and papaya. And they are the odd one out on the table. And they feel really lonely. They're like, Ralph, yes? How can I find like a vegan community, a plant-based community? And that's what I was thinking. Along my early journey, I was the odd one out. I had a group of friends, and when I was becoming a vegan, eating a more plant-based diet over 13 years ago, a lot of my friends at the time were like, what are you doing? Like, literally, what are you doing? So we would go out to eat, and when it came to ordering, I'm like, I want to get that. And it was just really awkward. I felt really lonely because everyone was stuffing their face full of beef and chicken and pork. And I'm like just here with some rice and some vegetables. And I felt great, but I also felt really lonely. I'm like, where are you, vegans? Where are you? What happened to me? I started to, down the line, go to a lot of festivals. I went to the Veg Fest recently. I started to watch more documentaries, but more so, how I stopped feeling alone with my food journey was by broadcasting my food journey. Do you know how many vegans I meet every single day just through Snapchat? Ralph, thank you so much for your videos. They've helped me stuff a whole load of blueberries in my mouth. Wow, looks pretty cool actually. That's great. So start sharing your food journey, start posting pictures of what you eat, and you're gonna find people, you're gonna find a community, and then you won't feel so lonely along your journey. What's the fourth thing making you lonely? Now, what I realized along my early journey is that I was afraid to sit with myself. What am I talking about? The human being is on the run from itself. So I started to realize, growing up, I'm like, if someone is alone, they're like a failure. That's the mindset I had. I was so programmed. I'm like, I can never be seen alone. I don't want to be a cast out, a castaway, a loner. Ever heard that term growing up, you loner? It doesn't feel good, right? So I would do anything to run away from myself just so I wasn't alone. I didn't learn how to sit with myself. Now, how to stop being lonely is to learn how to sit with yourself. Like this leaf is just sitting with itself. It's just in its perfect element. It's not, well, it actually is swinging around, but it's still here. Many of us on the planet, we can't even spend 5 minutes with ourselves. That's why we have even more anxiety. All anxiety emanates from a desire to escape the present moment. Slow motion this side. Alas, a voice spoke to me saying, Ralph, yes, sit your ass down. Okay. Be still, my child. Okay. And all of a sudden, I felt this beautiful peace. I was so happy just being alone and reconnecting with myself. Sometimes, and this is the great paradox, you have to be alone to find yourself. Sit with yourself. Spend 10 minutes just doing nothing in the woods and just hope a bear doesn't come out to say, can I get a hello there? Right? And the more you sit with yourself, the more you begin to embrace yourself, the more you begin to accept yourself, but more so, the more you begin to love yourself. And then you realize, actually, it's not so scary being alone. Want to know a secret? All the times I've been alone, I've got the best ideas. If I wasn't alone along my early journey, there would be no infinite waters. Sometimes you have to be alone to create supreme greatness. And that's how you really attract your true reflections. What's the fifth thing making you lonely? Ever been in a relationship just to be there? You're like, I'm with this person. I don't know why, but I'm with them. And then you end up complaining about them, even in your silent moments, like, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing there, because I'm so terrified and petrified of being alone that the universe forbid the thought of me ever being alone. So when it comes to relationships, many people are in a relationship simply because they don't want to be alone. What happens when that happens? You feel even more lonely. If you are with someone just because, I don't know, Ralph, just because? Put a big question mark. You should be with someone because they bring out the best in you, not because you don't want to be alone. They shouldn't be an excuse for you. It should be a choice, something that you willingly commit to and accept. And that's what I've seen along my journey in my relationships over time. I'm not being with someone just for the sake of being with them. I would rather be alone. And when I am with someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is because I totally want to be here. And then we end up like dancing off into the sunset, baby. It looks good. Film it. Okay, what is the sick thing making you lonely? You hang around people who always say, whoa, you're so deep. Ever been around? Do you know someone like that? I do. Growing up, I did, right? Gosh, Ralph, you're so deep. Little did they know they were in the presence of a deep diver in the making. So when someone says, gosh, you're so deep, sometimes it can make us feel really lonely. Like, I remember along my early journey when I was a teenager, I would talk about things like, I wonder how the universe was made. Whoa, you're so deep. Because everyone was just talking about sports and stuff, and I was really diving deep, and I felt really lonely. And then I realized that deep conversations with the right people or the left people, because I'm left-handed, that's the best, right? When someone just gets you. They don't have to scratch their head and say, what are you talking about? Gosh, you're so deep, right? So I started to realize it's not their fault. I got to start making a conscious action to say, I'm going to start meeting people who are vibrating on the same frequency as myself, who accept my thoughts, who aren't going to laugh at me, who aren't going to judge me. Ever gone out with a bunch of friends and they're all on the table, you're all talking and you feel totally alone? It can happen like that because sometimes you can be around 10 people, 10 of your friends and feel lonely. Or you can be by yourself and feel totally complete. Slow motion this side. So find people who really don't always say, oh my gosh, you're so deep. But both of you vibe. You both gel together so beautifully. What is the seventh thing making you alone? It's so beautiful out here in nature. Let's just take a woo. Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. That bird is saying hi, by the way. You're stuck in a job you don't like. And you feel you can't leave. You're going to be really lonely. How do I know? Because it happened to me. Gosh, it happened to me. Along my early journey, I'm like, I was in a job and I couldn't really get on with anyone. Like I would do the job, but I didn't feel we had anything in common. I just felt I was there for the check. Then I would leave, come in the next day, and it was the same thing over and over and over again. And I felt really lonely because it was almost as if I was living a double life. What helped me to stop feeling so lonely was to actually do something I was proud of something my heart was in. So ask yourself today, am I truly living a lifestyle that my heart is in 100%? The more you do that, the less you feel lonely, the less you feel alone, because once again, you are now creating a lifestyle where you can actually vibe with people you are working with, or even if you're working by yourself, you meet the right people or the left people along the way. But don't do anything which your heart is not in. Don't work in a job which your heart is not in, because you're going to feel super lonely. And in the end, truth be told, and in the end, you're going to say, was it really worth it, this check, for all of that loneliness? For all of that loneliness? Was it really worth it, this check, for all of that loneliness? Hell no. So, work somewhere which makes you happy. What is the 8th thing making you lonely? What I realized, what was making me really lonely, was suppressing my feelings, my emotions. A lot of times people say, snap out of it. Sometimes you say, how are you? They say, I'm fine. People don't really have time to talk these days. That's why people are very lonely. Because living in this information age, everything is very fast paced. And I realized I just needed to slow down. I'm here to tell you that express yourself. Don't suppress your emotions, and you won't feel as lonely. Find someone that can put up with your murmurings, with what you have to say, because it's important. That can really accept your true expression, how you feel, your emotions. They won't just tell you to snap out of it. They won't tell you to be quiet. They won't try to silence you. They won't try to sneakily change the subject. Ever been around someone, a friend, you're talking and they just slyly try to change the subject because they don't want to put up with what you have to say. So now you feel even more lonely. So what helped me along my journey was to say this, that I'm never ever going to suppress my emotions. And how you do that in a very simple way is just by doing this. Can I get a hello? Ah, that's better. What's the 9th thing making you feel lonely? Now, a lot of us, we live through a phone. We're living on these smartphones, and I do, and it's beautiful. But what will make you feel really lonely, and I know because it happened to me, is trying to find reality in technology. Yes, technology is real to some extent, but it can never replace this, nature. Many times we are even on the internet, we're online, we're on these phones, and we don't even take the time to connect with people, to make meaningful connections and interactions. So what really helped me along my journey was to actually meet people in real life. Like when I'm out and about, I often get stopped a lot. Are you Ralph Smart? And I'm like, pardon? I'm like, yeah. And we start talking about stuff and they start bringing up the cat down the road the whole time. And it's fantastic. Meeting people in real life. Or if I'm online a lot, which I kind of am, what happens? I am making meaningful connections. It's not just about typing, it's about talking. Because a lot of things get lost in translation. It's about not just random hi. Why not meet someone of significance? Why not make a meaningful connection? For goodness sakes, for once in your life, can we do that? And what is the 10th thing making you lonely? Not representing yourself, your true self to the world. Being afraid to be yourself. Wearing a mask. The facade. The false you. Don't worry about it. Because what happened to me along my journey, which stopped me being so lonely, feeling so lonely, getting so lonely, was to say, hey, this is me. And how you do it, it also goes back to the true expression. I talk about the third eye, indigos, and this is for a reason, because I am putting that message out there to connect with my true reflections. I'm not just going to talk about things which aren't really a true reflection of who I am. I'm going to show the world the true me as best as I can, my true authenticity, because that's how you stop feeling lonely. Like right now, I connect with so many amazing people who I vibe with because I am pretty much myself 100% on camera as I am off camera. I'm not hiding away. I'm showing the world who I truly am. And the more you do that, even if it might feel a bit weird at first, not only will you liberate yourself, you will feel a whole lot less lonely. Look, that bird is singing up there, and it's just like, I'm a bird, I'm just gonna sing. I don't care what anybody thinks. And now it's not so lonely because that bird is singing. And those birds are gonna make love in a minute. Goodness gracious, we ain't even had breakfast yet. So there you have it, 10 things making you lonely and how to stop feeling lonely to reconnect with amazing people. The only truth is that everything is connected. And once you realize that, well, you just say, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? Let's just, woo, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Have a beautiful day, deep divers. We are out here in the heart of nature, infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy. Peace. You.